Let us know when we're in.
We are in, I think.
Well, here we go then, I suppose. You might as well go and make sure if you'd like, but if we can
Yeah,
be.
I'm gonna make sure real quick. I'm gonna check now if it changed or not.
There we go. The green light is on, I believe. It is Friday night.
There we are.
Just a couple minutes of delay, but we're now getting ready for Tier 5 qualifying here for IFC. We're here at the Dutch track Zandvoort, and we'll be racing around here for, I believe, what is round 7 of the IFC season 4. Getting ready as we come to in, as well ahead of everyone else. Maybe running without a setup, which would be quite a ballsy strategy, but I suppose we'll find out. But here we go then.
It's one thing with this track. For some reason, on turn 4, the racing line says to take the inside on the entry. I always take the outside on the entry and cut in short for the exit, and it gets me a lot more speed down the main straight. Well, not the main straight, but down the straight.
Yeah.
Well, 5, 6, 7.
And if we're still watching on with Jaden LFC as he approaches turn 10, passing the DRS detection zone and into the first of only 2 DRS zones on this curly track, and already
Orbit's already out.
SRK Orbit the Mercedes. And I think it might have been collision, because Westy Dog,
Westy.
who had a quali ban, I believe, for Tier 6, has a 5-place grid straw penalty for a collision with the Mercedes that, as we can now see, is out.
I think
qualifying.
that's due to bubble pong.
You reckon? I'm unsure. There are a lot of factors in here. Maybe a bit of bad timing. Not sure quite what went on here. But
yeah, there's Hacky Bean fan club already. I'm gonna watch Jaden start up. Gabe, you can go through the lap if you want.
okay, here we go into turn 1. As we know, a track with really high banking, but through turn 1 we go. Perfect. Right onto the throttle again through the winding couple corners, and then right into the 180 here. We see a lot of drivers lose this in real life, and Jaden's kept it clean. Out onto the exit and through the winding turn 4, 5 and 6. One of my favourite parts of any Formula 1 track. Not the best for racing, but when it comes to Saturday qualifying, it's always been quite strong. Almost flat out, not flat out for Jaden though, maybe a sign that he isn't running with a setup as we go into turn 7, and then up and round into the double right-hander turns 8 and 9, up round into the curl, past the detection zone. Only 2 DRS zones, as I mentioned, on this lap, and hopefully he'll be catching both of them with good reflexes. Here we go. DRS main opens on the back of the Williams as we go down in towards turn 11, 12, and then right back up around into 13. And is he going to get it perfect? Down into second gear, one of the slowest parts of this track. And he's got that. That's quite strong now as we go into the banking, 13 and 14, and onto the longest part of this winding and quite narrow circuit almost as we're down through this very steep banking. Quite a bit of G there in real life, but he's fared well. And he's going to come to the line now to give us our first time of a 1:11.973 in the Williams, and I believe it's the Ferrari of Hysterical next to come over. Is he going to take that from Jaden? No, he's not, and it's a 1:12.3, 4 tenths off Jaden's time.
Yeah, and they're from McLaren's again. Yeah, working together. Here goes second. Active goes fastest.
And McLaren seeming to show very strong times on this Saturday here. Ryan very
is
strong.
6th. It's Ryan in 9th. Sorry.
Oh, and up to the
8th
top
now.
of the tables, in the Aston Martin, and a 1:11.1 blows Bobble Plunge in the Ferrari, blows his time right out of the water there. Very strong.
Obviously, the McLaren drivers that I use, I watch them along. It seems to be every race, these two are the perfect drivers to watch in qualifying because they always go out on a lap together.
Really strong pairing. I mean, we had nominations last season for best teammate. I was nominated tier 4 for the best teammate in IFC. And as we watch on, there's a Williams that stopped on the side of the track, and I think it's Jaden. He needs to be careful not to get disqualified for that. But you're right, McLaren definitely look like a strong pairing in terms of playing the sportsman and playing the team strategy. But yeah,
obviously due to them getting the 1-2 at Japan. Oh,
and
Westy's got another 5 grid place penalty!
As Old Lesson is out of qualifying, but Westy again. And that will be almost the back of the grid, or at least at best P10, and that's even if he can stick it.
Can he pull a
fastest.
Lewis Hamilton at Brazil? But anyway, back to the due to the McLaren's 1-2 last week, it's boosted them to second in the standings. Obviously getting, what was it, 43 points?
Yeah, it will be, yes, something along those lines, yeah.
Depends on fastest lap. Oh, Ryan's in a wall!
Oh, and the other Williams, I believe, in this session is out. Or I believe it's an Alpine. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
It's so blessing.
nonetheless,
There's an Alpine and a Williams out.
that's it then.
Aaron just set a 113. See Flair coming around the corner now. What can they set? They can
Well, 6th quickest.
go 6.
Not too bad a lap from the Aston Martin. Taylor Boss currently 2nd in 11.2 in the Red Bull. But Mutke, that looks like a dominant lap for Tier 5. I mean, a 111.1. I mean, even...
Let's just quickly look at the Haas of JXCVR here.
Do you think we could see some drivers getting into the 110s? This could be one of them. Oh no, a 111.7 and 7th place for
Aston
JXC.
Martin Rambo, I believe it is. I think it might be, yeah, he's going.
Yeah,
to
he's pitting now.
Red
but
Bull of not Dover, it's Taylor. It's Taylor going into the pits as Mercedes they'll have it.
But what are we
Okay,
thinking,
Oscar.
Kofi? Do you reckon we could see some drivers break the 1 minute 10 mark? Do you think it's at all possible?
I am very sure of that, as I believe Mini Devil was talking before, he's set a 10.5 in time trials. Depends if you can bring it into qualifying, obviously.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot more factors in multiplayer.
Yeah,
as opposed
okay, yeah,
to
you're
time
right
trial.
about you're right about the Orbit and Westy incident. As Orbit is saying, what was he doing?
Yeah. Unfortunate for Westy, who, if I remember correctly from what we've heard, he served a quali ban earlier on this weekend, and I believe that was for an incident in the last race weekend at Austria. But again, it's going to be more qualifying woes for Westy, as he'll be starting at best in 10th place unless he incurs another penalty. But at the moment, with him being in the running, only down in 17th and yet to set a time, he'll be at the back of the grid regardless, unless he can set a time that's good enough for the top 10. And even then, if he's even in 6th, he'll be in the bottom quarter of any driver to set a time this session. It's going to be a really
Who's
difficult
next to come
race for
across
him.
the line? Is it Deco? He's on 3 laps off, so surely he's pitting.
I'd assume
He is
so.
pitting.
Yeah.
He's up on his time. He's set for P6, P7, P8, around there.
Only 11.
And he goes P11.
Yeah, not exactly what he would be looking for at all. Wow.
Ferrari, sorry, for hysterical starting the lap. It's an Aston Martin of Mute on the lap. There's a a McLaren starting a lap now.
And I must say, I mean, on a track this tight, there's going to be some really close racing. And I think a weekend that could start with controversy here in qualifying for a couple outages and grid penalties for Westy, it could well see a lot more during the race. I mean, this is a place for close racing. And as we know, I mean, you know, nobody's...
Speaking about Westy, you might want to just watch Dego here, so I think Dego might be on a lap, and Westy's right in front of him.
Yeah, I think Westy's on an outlap again. It's his second time out the garage.
Ooh.
It's quite a difficult one because I believe Dego is... I don't know if he's on a lap. It's quite difficult to tell.
Because he's on 4 laps off. We've had a little bit of
Yes,
a
he's on a lap. His DRS wing's open. He's still trying to make something of this lap. It's got...
Unless he's trying to get back to the pits quick. We really don't know. He's 8 seconds down. Yeah, he's in.
Yeah.
He's going to be in this lap. Who was coming across the line first? I believe it's Hysterical, wasn't it? So watch Hysterical. Well, 1/10 down at the moment.
Let's take a look then. He's 1/10 improvement in the second sector as we look round towards the start finish straight. DRS wing opens on the SF21. Here we go to cross the line now. And it's P11
Gage's got
and
a
a
penalty
5
as
place.
well now.
Yeah, I mean there's penalties left, right and centre. A very tight track, but I wouldn't expect it this early for the incidents to take place, and it's a 5-place grid penalty for JJ Neat
Well,
in
it's
the
because
McLaren.
everyone's on the lap and they're all bunched up, you can see.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the parking lot that is the final sector there. Everyone looking to do their lap.
Hacky Bean goes 9th.
Not bad from the AlphaTauri driver, number 27. As we watch tons of drivers load into the pits now. And as we get to the... Oh! And yet another
Bubbles
one!
got a 5.
And it's another penalty for bubble plunge in the Ferrari. And for collision with Taylor, and I'm sure we'll hear about that very soon. And I believe that might... Whoa! What's going on with Hacky there? But I believe that might have been a pit entry incident. If we can get a clip of that to show to the stewards, I'm sure that'll be going public. But they were both on the pit entry. I think that might be a pit entry collision copy. And if so, I think the stewards will have quite something to say about that after the race. Especially beyond a 5-place grid penalty for sure.
I think it might have been because it's the obviously on Xbox they haven't updated the speed limiter on online yet to 50. it's still 37, but on average track it's 50 obviously. So
maybe they didn't
could
expect
have been
that.
one driver thinking it's 50, one driver knowing it's 37.
A very good point, but I'm sure we will hear about it after the race because Taylor's being pulled into that Red Bull garage without a front wing. So I think Taylor might have went into the back of the Ferrari. As Rambo in the other Aston Martin goes third quickest.
Ooh, yeah.
Time of 1:11.3. They're looking at a really strong pairing here around Zandvoort, but it seems almost as if...
Mute spun.
Oh, and he wouldn't want to see an end to his qualifying today, either sending him to the back of the grid, but it
was at the beginning of the season, we were seeing the Red Bulls 1-2, now we're seeing the Astons in 1-3.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, we might see something of the Red Bull if Dove Nightmare still in the pit lane and yet to set a time, so granted it could be something there to see Red Bull reascend to the top of the times for both drivers. However, at the moment, Aston Martin seeming like the dominant force here in qualifying, but we're going to have to see what they do in the race. As URC Yuki boy...
Sorry? Oh, that's a close time to separate first and second.
Yeah, but even then, I mean...
Haas, sorry, we got was it JXCVR?
I'm thinking maybe even with track evolution, I think that's going to be a very difficult time to top from the Aston Martin and Yuki boy. I think the entire top 5, or, you know, I mean, it's all quite close, but in the top 5, I think it's going to be very competitive for pole position and those front of the grid starts for the race. It's going to be a very, very difficult one to call without actually seeing the times that are made, especially, as I say, with track evolution. But we'll find out very soon. Not long to left in this session, 6 minutes 30. And we're getting there now, and the track will start to rubber in. We'll get more grip for the drivers.
As we're going to see a couple people coming across the line now too, for laps. I think we should watch Taylor on a lap, and I think, Gabe, if you want to go through it again, you can go through Taylor's lap.
Absolutely, here we go then. And another good old bit of lap commentary. Here we go then, a really good exit out of the final corner and a good old bit of top speed. 195 by the time he's into the braking of turn 1. And around we go, the sweeping corner, almost like a catapult. A really, really nice corner to watch. And here we go then, down and into turn 3. Cutting in quite a bit. Kept a good bit of speed in the exit, nearly lost it, but saved by the short shift. Here we go now, down through the winding pair of corners. As I mentioned, a really good one on the qualifying. We're going to have to see how it fares on the race. Is he going to take it flat out? He's not. Once again, down to gear, and we're seeing a lot of drivers do that today. And down and through the double right-hander. This is a critical place for time, especially against the other drivers, or at least so I've seen on my side of spectating. And here we go, round and into the DRS zone. Only down into 4th gear. He's going to have a little bit less power than many other drivers coming out the corner. Good on the DRS, right back foot to the throttle, into turn 11. And he's purple in the second sector, a 1/10 improvement. He could stick this back onto provisional pole, but our current pole man, the Aston Martin, is back out on the track. Here we go, final corner, or final 2 corners of this 14-lap circuit. And here we go now, down and through into the straight. Only seems like the blink of an eye when he was here last. And here we go to cross the line now. And it's pole position for Taylor Boss, and a 1/10 up on the Aston Martin. This is what I'm saying, track evolution will play a massive part in this. He was purple in the 3rd sector, purple in the 2nd sector, and the Red Bull finds himself on pole once again. But Mutke in the Aston Martin, who'll be in just not long at all, he'll be starting his lap. He'll be looking to re-improve and go back onto pole. With only 4.5 minutes left in the session though, we could see Taylor Boss on pole. I think it's going to be an Aston Martin and Red Bull shootout, Kofi. If I'm completely honest, that's the way I'd see it.
I'm just going to interrupt you here. You've been redeemed as Sue. You need to scream now.
No thanks, I'm fine. I'm not going to waste my voice for the race. I feel like there's going to be enough of that in the race.
Oh, go on then, Sue.
I'm not going to embarrass myself like that. I'm already midway through puberty, so yeah.
Look, at least you're not Westy singing Barbie Girl on Tier 1.
Can't wait to see that. Here we go.
He's already done it many times, trust me.
4 minutes left in the session, man. Taylor Boss on pole. I think we should
You're getting booed at now in the chat.
Lovely stuff. I think we should go on with the Aston Martin now. Mutke.
I am on mute.
Yeah, well, 2 great minds. Oh, and he's gone round! And not a great mind, as Mutke is in the barrier and he's lost the front wing. And that'll be it for his qualifying, I think. It's going to be a slow way back round. He's going to have to box, he's going to have to
Unless now someone else is going to have to make the difference out. Depends on who.
That's
it.
Got to
remember, Westy right now is set to be P19.
Yeah.
Due to his penalties.
It's been a rough qualifying, probably one that he'll want to forget.
Gabe, they're complaining. You need to do it, even if it's bad. Just say it.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe in the race. I'll need to build up the courage first. Not just now. Too many things to focus on. But here we go then. So Taylor, IFC points leader for Tier 5 by quite
No,
some
Mute can
margin.
go back out. I just realised Mute has time.
Does he have enough time, you reckon?
2:55. It'll be what? Minute in the pit lane.
It's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be something to look at by the time that the flag comes
It's
round.
It's going to be like a qualifying finish lap. Right, Haas and a Mercedes here.
Here we go.
Oh,
then.
this ain't going to be good for Dego.
Westy has improved. I think we missed it.
Oh, Dego's just sent JX into a wall. I think that's going to be a grid place penalty for JX. For Dego, sorry. It should be.
I suppose we'll find out.
Straight into the back of...
And Dove goes quickest. This is what I was saying. Track evolution. And it has once again become a multi-team shootout. And the Red Bulls are back on top. If Mutki can't come out again after that wing damage, because it doesn't look like Rambo's making any effort to leave the pit lane, then it's going to be, as it stands, a Red Bull 1-2. And as I said, track evolution playing a big part. And Dove, for the first time in Tier 5, is the first driver into the 1 minute 10s, a 1 minute 10.904, and just over a tenth up on his teammate Taylor. Oh, and
I've realised Dego...
off goes the Red Bull of Dove. Really lucky not to put that in the wall there. I think he's only... I don't even think he's touched the barrier.
I think not on a lap yet. But I realised he went up to P5.
Not bad for Westy, then he'll be starting 15th as we see it in the race. But then again, there's a Mercedes out and it's Dego. And I think we might have missed it with the Red Bull spin there. But the Mercedes of Dego either out or also came off at the same time as the Red Bull. But either way, he's retired from the session. And that'll be it then. For both Mercedes, at best, in the bottom 5. Now, if we take a look, Mutke is on an out lap. And he's going to make it successfully for a quality lap. He shouldn't have to speed too much. He'll be wanting to preserve those tyres. And he'll be wanting to let the other drivers pass. He needs to find the perfect balance between showing good sportsmanship and letting other drivers pass and making it before the checkered flag is waved. He's wanting so bad to disrupt this Red Bull 1-2 qualifying. Is he going to be able to do it? I suppose we're going to find out, because his Aston Martin teammate, First Rambo, has stayed in the pit lane. He won't have enough time to come back round for another lap. So, all that remains in the hopes of an Aston Martin pole position, it lays with Mutke, the man who was on provisional pole at the start of this session, as the AlphaTauri of URC Nuki Boy goes on to the front row, and another driver into the 1 minute 10s. As I say, track evolution playing a big part in this, Gopi. Gopi?
Yes, sorry.
You okay?
Yes, sorry. I was just so not a bit there, should we say.
No worries. However,
making little plans for the future of IFC, of AMDA, that's all.
Alright. We'll find out about that soon. Taylor boss!
Oh, Taylor's gone fastest!
There we go! And once again, the 1-2 swaps hands, and Taylor
they're all hoping for right now, which is impossible. They were all hoping Hacky Bean could have gone fourth. It would have been a Red Bull Academy 1, 2, 3, 4.
And now as the checkered flag waves, I believe we should go on board with Mutk1337, who is purple in the first sector now. We're going to give you a bit of commentary on this lap as we go into sector 2 of the Aston Martin, who is trying so hard to disrupt the pole position. And at the checkered flag, this is where it all matters. No more excuses, but he's gone a bit sideways through and into turn 8 and up into the detection zone at turn 10. Here we go now. A little bit of wheel spin, got a little bit sideways at the last couple of corners. He's going to see what he can do. Down to the middle sector, is he going to go purple? He's not, but it's an improvement by only a couple of hundreds. Is it going to be enough? Is he going to disrupt the 1-2 for these Red Bulls? We're going to find out. Hacky right in the way, gets out the way in a perfect time. This could be the lap. Oh, and it's not! It's not, because Mutke's round. And into
Clan
the
of
gravel.
active Wolf though.
And
can active make a difference?
Like that, there's going to be a couple drivers now that could make the difference, but it's not going to be the Aston Martin, and he'll be kicking himself that he's done that on the final 2 corners. That could have been the lap for a front row start or even pole position, but he's not been able to do it as he takes the flag in the Aston Martin. A good effort overall from Mutke.
That is qualifying finished, I believe.
And it is, as it stands, a Red Bull 1 and 2 Taylor Boss 1 minute 10.8 against Dove a 1 minute 10.9. There's only 3 drivers so far this session that have been able to make it. Tell you what, some valiant efforts across all of the drivers here. Westog, despite a 10 place grid penalty, will start 16th, and a really good effort to come back from those collisions I wonder if the stewards will have anything further to say about that, as they may with Dego and
that is actually
GXC.
a question while you're doing this. If you quickly, while we can, go on Race Director and quickly see. Oh, never mind. We'll see the qualifying. If you can go on the Race Director and see who's got the 5 grid place penalties.
Okay, if you'd like to take a photo to give to the graphic design team. But a really, really good job then from Taylor Boss and Dove Nightmare, the Ferrari pairing starting 1 and 2. Now this is what we 100th the difference between the two Red Bull drivers. Westy Dog will start 16th in the race with a 10 place grid penalty. He's 3 tenths off the timing. And a really, really strong qualifying for some of our drivers, some not so much. Bobble Punch in the Ferrari will start, I believe, down in 13th with a 5 place grid penalty. JJ Neat in the McLaren will start 19th with also a 5 place grid penalty. A couple collisions in qualifying. We'll be hoping for something cleaner in the race. But for now, that is your qualifying. And a really, really good session for Red Bull. And a shame for Mutke not to be able to disrupt that one too. He'll be having it all to make up for in the race.
We'll see. Obviously, always. I think I haven't done this in absolute. I haven't actually. I think I haven't done Netherlands league race for over a year now. To be correct, and that would have been IFC was the last time I did Netherlands. Season 1.
Whoa.
And now we're on season 4. Yeah, season 1 IFC, round 4 I believe it was. It was Zandvoort, my debut.
Very impressive. Here we go then. This is it, the grand event. All or nothing for our drivers, regardless of where you are starting on the grid, despite the penalties or anything like that, is all to play for, and especially in league races like this on a track of very high attrition. We're going to see who can capitalise on their current positions, come back from those penalties or come back from those poor qualifyings. And here we go. The formation lap here at Zandvoort is a go. Just a reminder of... It's
going to be interesting.
Just a reminder of your starting positions then. Taylor Boss and Dove Nightmare lead a Red Bull 1 and 2. IFC Taylor looking to extend his championship lead already. Over 50 points separate him and GXC in the Haas. So Taylor and Dove starting 1 and 2. URC Nuki Boy in the AlphaTauri lead a Honda powered 1, 2 and 3. Mutke, who was going to challenge for pole in qualifying, unfortunate spin sends him back to 4th place. Active Wolf in the McLaren starts P5 for McLaren. First Ramble in the sister Aston Martin, who was also at one point challenging for the top 5, just outside in P6. VRL Flair and Mini Devil, the Alfa Romeo pairing, 7th, 8th. 9th goes to Hacky Bean with his teammate in the top 3. He'll be looking to make something of this session. And just finishing out the top 10, we have JXC, who may be in a spot of baller post-race for the incident between himself and Dego in the Mercedes. Jaden LFC in the Williams, parts P11, followed by Bubble Punch in the Ferrari and Dego in the Mercedes. Dego being caught up in a Ferrari sandwich almost between Bobble and Hysterical. Westy, after 10 place grid penalty, starts 50th. Really strong comeback with his qualifying lap, but he'll be hoping for something more in the race. Aaron in the Haas starts 16th behind Ryan and Obless in 17th and 18th. JJ Neat 644 and SRK Orbit, who will start 19th and 20th respectively, are both disqualified from the formation lap. Most likely for some sort of contact though, so we might hear something about that a little later on. But here we go. We're approaching the final
While
corner.
we're in the drivers lineup, I'm going to ask you this, Lance, Clay, who's going to win? Who's going to be the person that's on that top step?
On a race of such high attrition,
time?
Copy, I couldn't give you a straight answer, but we're watching them form up and we'll find out in
I
only 36
have the
laps
definite feeling that it's going to be one of the Red Bulls.
I suppose we'll find
I
out.
don't know who. It's going to be a Honda engine. Let's abbreviate that, shall we?
Well, that is your gamble to
Because
take.
we've only got JXC VR, Aaron, and No Blessing on the mediums.
Ooh, but here we go though. It's all going to be to play for. This is it as we get ready for 5 red lights ahead of our drivers. The formation lap is over. The next time that we see this rubber move will be for our first race lap here at Zandvoort. It felt like a long time coming. It's going to be round 6 of the IFC Championship in Season 4. And it's a jump start and it's lights out and away we go. And it looks like it's going to be a really good getaway for Taylor off the line. Dove, not the jump he would have wanted. I think there's drive-through penalties for some drivers for jumping the start there. URC Nuki Boy in the AlphaTauri is up into 2nd place for AlphaTauri. But it looks like a clean getaway for most of our drivers. There's Old Blessing in the Alpine, who has a drive-through penalty anyway. Seems to have fallen behind. Oh, and we've got a spinner already. A yellow flag. I think it's Buki in the Aston Martin.
Westy.
It was Westy. It was Westy who's fallen to the back now, not really the start he would have wanted.
Dago's gone really wide. I think Dago's
off. Dago's off as well, yeah. And it's not been a clean start for some.
Damage.
Deggo with wing damage as well. But here we go. Taylor now leads the Grand Prix. A very clean getaway for a lot of our drivers, some more than others. And are we watching?
Ryan is a boss. He's made 5 positions off the start. Hysterical made 4. JXCVR and Mini Devil making 3.
Really strong
Good
for a
start
lot of
from
our
there.
drivers. Already a bombardment of penalties for some of our drivers, mostly for jumping the 5 light signal on the race start. However, we are away. No retirements as of yet. A bit of damage for Deggo on the Mercedes, losing his front wing there. I recommend we go on board with SRK Orbit, who has front row tickets to the fight between O'Blesson and Bobble Punch, Ferrari and Williams, but O'Blesson's got past. Just in time for the straight. Bobble could have a look back at him. Taylor Boss, the time to beat so far in the first lap is a 1:17.5. Into the pits comes the Alfa Romeo of Mini Devil. Multiple cars pitting now, including the Mercedes SRK Orbit, Bobble Punch and the Ferrari. A 5-second time penalty for the Ferrari for speeding in the pit lane. It's all happening here on lap 1 here at Zandvoort. As I said, a race of attrition. No one's failed to finish yet, but we've had some incidents already.
Still got the battle for the top 2. Looking to be one of the closest, actually.
That's the one. AlphaTauri chasing the Red Bull, not normally something you see in Formula 1 in the present day in real life. However, we have Taylor Boss fending off against URC Nuki Boy. URC, I believe, may be looking for his first win. I believe that URC may actually be a reserve driver, as I see it on the standings, unless they haven't been updated yet, for URC to be a full-time driver. However, Taylor Boss leads us away from URC. First Rambo in the Aston Martin speed up in plenty of positions to bring himself up into third. Dove Nightmare, not really the start he would have wanted. He's in 4th place at the moment. Active Wolf in the McLaren is held position. He's P5 in the McLaren. JXC, who was 10th at the start, is now up in 6th. And we've got yellow flags, and I believe it's another Mercedes spinner. And it is Deggo again. Hopefully not wing damage as he operates a 3-point turn at this part of the track. Not the best, but it's quiet just now. And URC setting the fastest lap of the race. He's got the pace to take first place, and he's hunting it down from the Red Bull
ERS as well.
And a pit stop for O'Blesson in the Williams. They were running 10th and 11th there, but not for long as O'Blesson goes falling down the order. Most likely front wing replacement then. And a lot of drivers pitted on lap 1 to serve drive-through penalties, and that has really rearranged the order here. As we can see, Mutke, who started, I believe, 4th or 5th on the grid, is now down in 13th.
Ooh,
all the way
Ryan
down.
Has spun.
Ryan's round.
It's lap 3 and Deggo's already being close to being lapped.
It's not exactly a weekend he would have wanted, having a Bottas 2020 Turkey-ish kind of weekend here. And it's just going from bad to worse for him. VRL Flair being passed by multiple drivers there, and I believe that might have been victim of some sort of spin or damage as he gets passed by his teammate as well. Westy Dog has made recovery. He's back up into 10th already. Ryan is a boss pits, most likely with wing damage. But Deggo will be back into 19th. Can he recover? Can he salvage anything from this race? We're on lap 3 of 36 now. DRS has been enabled as well. But this is it then. This is how it looks for you. Taylor Boss leads from URC, Nuki Boy, First Rambo, Dove Nightmare, Active Wolf, GXC, Hacky Bean, Hysterical, Jaden LFC, and Westy Dog in your top 10. Ryan is a boss, moves down to 10th after pitting. Deggo's in 19th, and he's looking to recover after a very, very messy first lap. But so far, all 20 drivers still competing for the race winner or for points in this Grand Prix. And to be honest, it's been quite clean. Westy Dog, a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And in terms of penalties, it goes from bad to worse to even worse for Westy in the Alpine Cope.
Oh, Bubble Pong has completely been set into a wall.
Oh dear. Do you reckon it was collision there?
I don't know, if I'm honest.
And
He's
Bubble
retired.
Punch retires.
He's raged.
A retirement on the track. Most likely some sort of...
He might have had rear wing side pod damage.
Yeah, but still...
There's a retirement on track though, so that's not going to be good.
Exactly, that's what I mean. It might be a bit of Stewart's intervention there. Our first retirement from this session comes from the Ferrari of Bobble Punch. Not exactly the weekend start.
Deggo's fun!
And Deggo's round. The man in 19th.
The opposite wall of
and he's off!
And Deggo's out!
And this could well be a safety car. I can't see it not being a virtual. And
it is!
It's a full safety car. This is going to completely bunch the order back up, and we're going to see ourselves a safety car restart very, very soon. 2 drivers out on lap 3, Deggo and Bobble. They're going to be 18th and 19th. Ryan is going to like the news that he is hearing when he hears that the safety car is being deployed.
He's been lapped.
Really, this is it now. Ryan is a boss. Moves up to 18th.
Has Ryan been lapped?
Ryan,
yeah, he has been
Ryan's
lapped, yes. In turn 1, Taylor's in turn 4.
Wow. Yeah, and that'll be quite
Unless
devastating.
they all let him past, because that is a thing on F1. You can just let the lap cars past.
It would be something that a lot of drivers they'd have to show extreme sportsmanship and extreme cooperation for this one. But if we can let Ryan Boss unlap himself, That would really help with his chances.
Obviously, this is his second ever league race on his brand new wheel, and he was doing really well, keeping up to the leaders in tier 4, 5, 6. I can't think today.
Just take your time. It's all good. But here we go. We're on lap 4 of 36. SRK Orbit has a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. As Kopi brought up in qualifying, the pit lane speed limiter in Formula 1 in real life is 50 miles an hour. On this game, it is 37, and I think some drivers are trying to adjust to the difference between IRL and IFC. A lot of drivers speeding in the pit lane, and a lot of drivers incurring penalties. Not exactly what any of them would want just now. However, we have safety car conditions, and the group are bunching up again. The only driver to be lapped so far is Ryan is a boss. And unless he's able to be let by the other drivers, unless he's going to be given that opportunity, then this will most likely be where he's sat for the rest of this race. It won't be one that he wants to compete in, I can assure you, Kopi, but here we go. Safety car conditions. Field are starting to catch up. I could see us getting racing again, lap 6 maybe.
Oh, I'm guessing this now. Orbit's feeling a lot of the pressure now.
How's that? How come?
Because he's the only Mercedes left now.
Ooh.
Part, obviously, you know, his academy teammates in 5th, 6th, 9th and 13th. Because that's because due to Jane pitting.
Ryan is a boss, has a 5-second time penalty for a collision with the Aston Martin of first Rambo. Now, where did that come from?
I think that might have been, you know, Rambo going into Ryan.
Ooh.
Because Rambo's obviously behind.
This is it now. I think this might as well be game over for Ryan in the Alpine. He's lapped, and he has a 5-second time penalty. How can you come back from this one-way wonder?
He does have a 5-second time penalty, don't mind. I'm a bit stupid today. Yeah. I apologise to everyone.
It's okay. Don't stress about it. But yeah, another
two
penalty.
weeks of moxing
and multiple penalties. Then Westy Dog being the subject of quite a few incidents there. I think Aaron, multiple drivers with penalties now. Collisions with Westy Dog. And I wonder what's happened there. Westy in 14th. He has his own penalties.
If I'm correct here, I think Ryan has been lapped by Jaden.
Ooh. Yeah,
nearly been lapped by Jaden.
Nearly.
Ryan has been forced to let Rambo past.
This is a very interesting race start, if I do say so myself. Only 2 DNFs, but a ton of controversy. Oh, and someone's round, and it's the Haas. It is R&D, already with a penalty. And now, with, I'd assume, wing damage, and to the back of the grid nonetheless, even with having to box for wing damage maybe. Well, he's been relegated right to the back.
He has no damage, I believe.
Plenty.
Saved.
Plenty of controversy, especially for the fact
Westy's
we're not even in race conditions. And Westy will also be serving a penalty while we're there, I'd imagine.
Aaron must have some sort of damage.
Yeah, he is coming into the pit lane now. So what,
we've flat spot the tyres.
That could well be the case. We have multiple drivers on the soft tyres, hysterical pitted onto the hards. If we take a look here, I mean, there's a lot of mixture. Only one driver on the hard tyre, but a very big proportion of the drivers are on mediums now. Newer mediums. Some started on that tyre, but now there's a couple on the softs. And you've got to think, Kopi, what's the strategy? What's the best call? I mean, even if you're starting on the softs or the mediums, what would you reckon
I would think it would be a soft medium. I would expect to be a soft medium, not a soft hard. But due to, I guess, obviously the softs pitting a bit early, 4 laps, a bit early, the hards are going to have to go all the way for the.
The hards are going to have to go all the way.
They have to do.
If hysterical, and the safety car, I believe, is in this lap, to my knowledge, but I don't know. I think
it might not be due to the course of Jen.
Yeah. However, I think hysterical.
It is.
It's in this lap, and the grid are not bunched up at all. There are still 3 drivers that are yet to catch up, and they're going to need to put their foot down.
This is where Taylor's going to drop the pack to 60 to 50 even. He's going to 45, 50. He's just going to bring the pack all to a nice slate and let the others catch up as much as they can.
It would be the valiant thing to do. And
Westy, who absolutely just completely dive bombed everyone.
Not again.
He went from P16 to P3. Anyway, let's watch Taylor on this restart, shall we?
We're going
I
to
think
take
he's
a
going to
look.
catch him off any...
The man who
Taylor's
has
very
led
good
this
with
race from lights out to the current minute now leads our safety car restart.
Yeah,
and here we go,
on.
he's gone. And he's got him!
He's caught
He's
Nuki
done
off
it
guard.
again. But wait, no, the AlphaTauri's hot on his tail as we go green flag and we are racing again. Here is Zandvoort and Taylor.
Oh, the Haas and Dove.
They've caught a
JXCBR
majority of the
looking
grid
down
mapping.
the inside. Can he make the move? He's going to have to. Dove really not having the best of starts here. Ryan already trying to unlap himself.
You'll need to let them by it. His blue flag rolls, but round goes oh, and it's first Rambo and he's out. He's out of the Grand Prix. And the other Aston Martin.
It's a massive bunch up here. It's 3 wide nearly.
Nuki out.
A blessing all the way down to Aaron even. Aaron's going to try and look. Aaron's just tapped hysterical. You try to look down the inside of a corner you're not really meant to overtake.
Things are just getting worse and worse for a lot of our drivers here. Ryan is a boss down in 18th. He's been lapped by everybody
Massive.
on the grid.
We'll have a look quickly at between the Alfa Romeos and the McLaren.
The Ferrari of
together.
Hysterical is also spun. Nobody's been able to heat up their tyres on the safety car because the safety car's come in and the restart has been super slow.
Oh, Active's been spun by Mini Devil.
It's all going wrong for a lot of our drivers, and you can't help but think tyre temperature could play a big part in the performance of these cars as we go around these corners. The higher curves,
Orbit's trying to look for a move in the Alfa Romeos here.
the higher curves means more of an opportunity of spinning, and especially on the cold tyres, it is amplified. And we've seen multiple drivers
Jaden and Westy, who's going to make the move here? I think Jaden, because he's definitely got somehow still the tyre advantage.
really strong, and a really good look down the
spinner,
inside.
it looks
Hacky
like.
Bean's gone round.
And that's Hacky.
What is going on here? This is one of the most chaotic, or one of the most action-packed restarts I've personally ever seen. But we've still got Taylor Boss in the lead.
Oh, Orbit's fun!
Oh, and that's another one. And it's just not Mercedes weekend today, because it's damage for the Mercedes of SRK Orbit, and that's it.
It's the two. Right now, the closest on track would be the 2 Alfa Romeos.
You got a little bit of close racing.
As we see URC closing up to Taylor. We'll have a quick sneak on board. We'll have a little scavenger around, shall we? And we'll see who's the closest.
Yeah.
Blessed and Ryan, obviously.
JXC from 10th on the grid, however, is up into 3rd place somehow. A really strong,
spin, yes.
a really strong race for Taylor Boss and the Red Bull.
Dove and JXCVR here, very close. JXCVR spun!
And another big
Out.
crash, and that's right on the start finish straight, and that surely has to be
That's
a
a front
safety
wing
car,
line.
and so it is.
It's a safety car.
As cars try and make it into
It's
the pit
now
lane
time
now.
for the soft guys there. Jaden has been perfectly slotted in there.
And,
Jaden and Westy have pitted at the perfect time.
and the Williams and Alpine teams, well, it's just in time for the lucky dip on Sunday. It's time to buy a lottery ticket. The soft tyre gamble has paid off tremendously. They're both topping on, I believe, 2 used mediums each. And this is it now.
I would think that, yeah, Taylor's gonna be putting his foot down, keeping the delta as close as he can to 0, and then Dove's just gonna back off surely to realise that they're gonna be double stacking.
They're most likely. Oh, it'll be a very bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for the Red Bull if they do double stack.
I would expect Dove to try and slow down the pack, just a bit.
Do we know if
Does
the Red
seem
Bull
like a
are
Red
playing
Bull. It would
team
seem-
game? I suppose we will find out. But the gap is quite massive.
Yeah, you can
between-
start to see.
Yeah.
Taylor's like 60% throttle, and then you've got Dove just on 25.
And Dove playing a massive part in Taylor's
You have to
possible
slow down a lot
success.
more though than what he's got at the moment.
I mean, keep in mind there is optimization made now to the double stack in Formula
Taylor's
1.
using his ERS trying to get into the pits. Fair enough.
And here we go into the pit
He's
lane now.
gonna have to break
comes
all the
the
way
Red Bull.
down to 37.
And our race
You
leader
stayed out.
into the pit lane. Yeah, the
Dove-
Red Bull
Dove-
stayed out.
Ow.
So now he's trying to play the team game. It's not going to be enough. Taylor's still going to fall down the order on his first pit stop. You can see the idea that Dove had.
Mute's got on softs.
So many altering strategies. And
I
this is
think
one of the things that I
everyone's
love
filling in there
about
now.
league racing.
This is gonna be maybe Jaden and Westy haven't planned this out. You know, they've made no positions. We've lost 2 actually, in fact.
And you can't help but think
You've
that
got
they might
Jaden-
feel a little bit stupid now. Maybe they might take the receipt back to the shop,
As you
hand
can
back in
see-
that lottery ticket.
It started off with the Alpines looking really bad, but then I've just realised Ryan is now in P3. He could actually see if he could unlap himself, maybe.
It could be a possibility. He's got Dove Nightmare, who, as we know, is a good
But to be
sportsman.
fair,
from the
I
team
won't
game
lie
of
to
Red
you.
Bull.
The tier
And
5s probably don't know this, that they can unlap themselves.
Well, you never know. Let's not be judgmental
true.
of different tiers, Mr. Tier 4. Alright? But I think it's safe to say that there could be a possibility that Ryan could certainly bring himself back into this race, despite the penalty that he so much has. However, here is how it's looking for you on the second safety car. We're on lap 11 of 36, and URC Nuki Boy, the Tier 5 reserve, is now leading this Grand Prix for AlphaTauri. Dove Nightmare is back in the position he started. He's in P2. And if you're wondering where our race leader was, well, he's in P5. He's just pitted. But thanks to Dove trying his best to play the team game, Taylor has lost only half the positions you'd expect him to. He's only down in P5. Hakkibeen and the other AlphaTauri is in P4. VRL Flair, despite having a penalty, well, he has a 10-second time penalty that will send him way down the order. However, he is in P3 for Alfa Romeo. If you're having a look at the details for penalties for each driver, Ryan is a boss who is one lap down to the entire grid, has a 5-second time penalty. Ferrari of Hysterical is currently in P7, also has a 5-second time penalty. But apart from that, we are clear for now of penalties. Then again, I suppose that comes to see what happens in the remainder of the race and what happens post-race even. Especially with an alleged incident with Westy Dog on that previous safety car just there.
Yeah, as you were saying, obviously, we see, that there are none of the Aston Martins now near the top, obviously. You've got only the Red Bulls, and now that's another Williams out of the race.
And a safety car
Gleason
DNF.
is retired.
It's just no good at all. Could we see the safety car come in this lap? I think we will. And we do. Now Dove will need to try and get past the AlphaTauri of URC Nuki Boy on the restart. We saw Taylor get caught out very well by Nuki Boy, not enough to aim for an overtake on the restart. However, URC seems to have the restart sorted last time around. Let's see if he can get it this time. Just a reminder, in your top 5, you've got URC Nuki Boy in the AlphaTauri, Dove Nightmare in the Red Bull, the Alfa Romeo VRL Flair, Hakkibeen, and Taylor Boss. And Ryan, as a boss, has a 5-second time penalty for a collision with the Red Bull of Dove Nightmare. And here we go, as we get ready to go, and I think URC's gone, and he's caught them again. As I said, a man with experience on the safety car restarts has got it done. We go green flag racing once again, and URC Nuki Boy seems to have caught Dove off the restart and leads this Grand Prix and retains that lead. Dove Nightmare now also a 5-second time penalty for the collision with Ryan as a boss on the safety car restart. Already on the safety car, as I believe we've already got collision, and it's all going crazy back there. 2 cars spun, 2 cars in the wall. Westy,
Both Alpines.
And oh bless him, was it teammate contact, Kofi?
I don't know. I think no, because it would have been Westy's already. Obviously, Westy had lapped Ryan, so I believe it was just the unlucky thing that Westy saw Ryan crash on the track and he had to move.
14 drivers left as of lap 13 of 36, and URC Nuki Boy for AlphaTauri leads by almost a second, almost 6 seconds if you take into account the penalty.
Hysterical
of
here,
Dove
sorry,
Nightmare.
side by side. Mute's going to lie and look round the outside. He's going to have to obviously hold back, but then he's also got JJ on the back of him. Massive battle there for 9th and 12th, sorry.
I mean, it's more of a massive battle
starter
7th through 13th, I think. There's 5 drivers looking for positions here. And here we go down onto the back banking. URC. Oh, and another crash. And it's the McLaren. It's the McLaren this time. And it's JJ Neat not out of the race. Tons of debris. Could be our first virtual safety car of the weekend, perhaps, as he makes it back into the pit lane. No safety. Oh! And that is SRK Orbit. And you can't help but think that may
he's
have been
done that on
intentional.
purpose, you know.
And yet another safety car. Our third safety car.
I think
of
that
the
was
weekend.
absolutely intentional.
I have to agree with you, unfortunately, Kofi. And one may think how he may not be penalised post-race. SRK Orbit, the man in the Mercedes, the man 9th in the standings with 24 points, has absolutely sent it into the pit entry. and with that, he's out. With that, he nearly taken out the McLaren of JJ Neat. If he had any type of collision with that McLaren, then it would well have most likely been a massive penalty for the Mercedes. If it can be proven, however, that collision with the pit entry barrier was intentional, there is going to be massive repercussions for that Mercedes driver post-race. However, yet another safety car, the third of this race, and we're on into lap 14 of 36, Kopi.
Indeed. I was going to say before Ryan retired, at this rate of, you know, everyone crashing per this lap, Ryan would have been in points even if he was lapped.
Oh, into the pits! Both the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri. This is it now. And we're about to watch the lead swap hands. Hacky Bean. And it's went from AlphaTauri Red Bull to AlphaTauri Red Bull. And Dove is serving his penalty, his 5-second time penalty, before they switch over the tyres onto the medium tyre for the Red Bull. The AlphaTauri going on to mediums as well. Same strategy, a drive-through penalty for Hysterical and a 5-second time penalty for the Alfa Romeo VR Flare that has not yet been served. We went from AlphaTauri Red Bull in the lead top two, of which was Nuki Boy and Dove Nightmare. We've now went to Hacky Bean and Taylor Boss, AlphaTauri Red Bull 1-2. And we're going to be looking.
Okay, Ryan.
At
apparently, also Ryan is a boss driver into the wall. So basically, Ryan did what Koppel did.
I suppose we'll find out after the race with a ton of content to come out in the form of clips to go to the stewards. But here we go. This is the safety car. Again, we're watching the Aston Martin circle around the track at half the speed again. But what an action-packed Dutch Grand Prix this has been. And Hysterical in P3, despite a drive-through penalty, he'll be counting his lucky stars that he's been able to make it this high up the grid after where he started. And I mean, he's 11 places up, even with that drive-through. If he can nail some sort of points finish out of this, it will be very, very impressive. However, Hacky Bean leads from Taylor Boss in the Red Bull, then Hysterical in the Ferrari, as has been covered. Jaden LFC then in the Williams, he is in P4, followed by the AlphaTauri and previous race leader URC Nuki Boy, who is followed very closely by the McLaren Mercedes of Active Wolf. Then our former pole fighter and Aston Martin driver Muki, the fellow Red Bull Dove Nightmare, VRL Flare with a 5-second penalty, is right behind him. R&D in the Haas is right behind him and up 6 places from the start. Mini Devil in the sister Alfa Romeo to his teammate in P9. And into the pits comes Hysterical, most likely to serve that drive-through, and he'll be relegated right to the back of this pack for now. JJ Neat in the McLaren behind the AlphaTauri of Mini Devil. Westy Dog in P12. He's trying to make some sort of comeback from that very, very poor qualifying. Who's followed by Hysterical, who's now in last place. Kopi, you said
Obviously
that your
now
prediction was for a Honda-powered race victory. And I think it's starting to turn out that way, isn't it?
It is. I was going to say now, I'm saying now, the race is all back together now. All the drivers, all on the same tyre compound, racing against each other.
Right you are, and there's only one driver, the one with the oldest tyre obviously being Hacky Bean, who's in the lead, who I believe has only pitted once from the softs on lap 6. He's running on the oldest medium tyres. He will be stopping soon. Could he take advantage of this safety car, ensuring that he's right with the pack in the case an incident happens on the racing restart? He would cede the lead to the Red Bull of Taylor Boss, and Jaden would be up into P2. URC would come back into the podium, but this is all under the question of Hacky Bean coming into the pits as the safety car's in this lap. That choice will no longer be viable to the AlphaTauri of Hacky Bean, who leads this Grand Prix with super old tyres. We're going to find out what happens. This is it now. Our third safety car restart. We're on lap 60 of 36 with 20 laps to go now. And here we go. This is going to be it. We've seen two almost very successful restarts from the Red Bull of Taylor Boss, who's currently P2, and the AlphaTauri of URC Nuki Boy in P4 for AlphaTauri. This is it now. Hacky Bean is going to see if he can make it.
He's gone now.
This is it, and he's went very
early. He
early.
Hasn't caught anyone off guard. Top 4 have been caught off guard, caught the 5th off guard. But it wasn't, I'm not going to lie, one of the best starts.
We're on the green flag. I think Taylor might try and send it. He's not. He's going to back out a very mature way to commit to turn 1. But Hacky Bean, despite maybe not exactly a smooth restart, retains the lead.
Flare, sorry, side by side.
Whoa, and it's getting very close between the Williams and the AlphaTauri. URC Yuki Boy around the outside. He's going to try and get it done. Has he got it done? Yes, he has. Up into the podium places for AlphaTauri. It's AlphaTauri Red Bull, AlphaTauri in the top three. Yellow flags in turn one, and that is Dove Nightmare, who I believe may have gone round or had some kind of incident there. Green flags waved again, however, no damage. Taylor Boss is right on the back of Hacky Bean. His tyres are super hot. He's going to have to take extra care as he chases down this AlphaTauri here. Hacky Bean looking.
JJ goes down the inside of Mini Devil here. Can he keep it though? Or can he hold it around, maybe around the outside?
Here we go. I recommend you tune into the top one, Kopi, because we're going to look for Hacky Bean or Taylor Boss making a move on Hacky Bean round the outside. And it is so close. Hacky Bean gets the tail a bit sideways there, and Taylor Boss has to cede that move back to Hacky Bean as we come round turn 14 or 15 onto the start-finish straight now. And it's all about the exit from this corner. And it looks like Taylor Boss has got a bit more speed. He's going to be draining the battery now.
Ooh, URC is going to go down the inside of Taylor, sorry.
Is he going to make it an AlphaTauri? 1-2 is so close to contact. He's been given enough space. Is he going to work with it now? Oh, bit contact. Through. Oh, and once again, very smart thing to do to cede that move and let Taylor back through.
Just look around the outside there.
Look at this. I mean, this is what it's all about now. Maybe a bit of a scuffy start to this Grand Prix, but look at the top five now as they fight. And as we go through, sweeping right through, and I think we go back on board with Taylor Boss. He's right behind this AlphaTauri now. And the AlphaTauri, dare I say it, is all over the place, Kopi.
I don't know what to say, but what if my prediction was maybe multiplied? Maybe it's a triple Honda podium.
All Honda podium here in Zandvoort. It could be the dream of many. Here we go though, Taylor Boss. Is he going to try it again? He's going to be super late on the brakes, not as opposed to Hacky Bean. Is he going to do the switchback? No, he's not. It's going to be very close now. Right on the back, they make contact. They make contact front to rear of the AlphaTauri, and again, for the final two corners, Taylor getting very close to that curb, almost enough for a spin.
Oh, contact with the URC.
As URC has made it through.
Jaden's gone into second.
Look at this. Look at the racing on this start-finish straight into turn one we go. Jaden's through to second, URC through to third. And it is a safety car yet again. And that is for the crash of VRL Flair in the Alfa Romeo. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that we have missed that. We're back under safety car conditions. And once again, the grid has been completely reshuffled, especially in the top five. Taylor Boss has gone right down.
Into third.
Hacky Bean retains the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix from Jaden and the Williams, who's had a super restart, and URC Nuki Boy finds himself back in the podium places for AlphaTauri.
Driver of the day, sorry to interrupt, at the moment is JJ Neat. 10 positions made.
Not too bad at
19th
all.
to 9th. Oh, as I say that as he's off the track and he's nearly out.
Oh dear, yeah. Maybe giving it the kiss of death there.
Good.
Is there any damage on the McLaren? I think there is.
Yes,
yeah, the left end plate missing. Wow, this has been quite the Dutch Grand Prix. And here we go, Hacky Bean leads us away once again. He'll need to stop eventually. He's on 13 lap old mediums. Could we see the AlphaTauri into the pit box this lap? He's got no penalties, no kind of... There's no... And here he goes, here he is, into the pits now. In for the AlphaTauri team, 13 lap old mediums. He had to call it a day eventually for these very old and very worn tyres. It will see him drop almost right to the back, maybe even right to the back, if the Ferrari of Hysterical can get past. Back on to medium tyres now for Hacky Bean. Is he going to take them to the end, Kopi? I suppose we'll find out. JJ Neat into the pits for his front wing repair, and he's going to be
will definitely take these mediums all the way.
And it looks like JJ going for the safe option, hard tyres. Hacky Bean's retained 10th place, so he stays in the points on the safety car. And Jaden LFC for Williams leads this Grand Prix. He's in a very similar situation now to Hacky Bean. Yes, Hacky Bean. And he will most likely need to stop again. There's no way that he's going to bring these tyres. Even if he stopped once, he's committed to the regulation of stopping and changing to a different tyre compound. But can he bring these mediums to the end nonetheless? What a race it has been. Active Wolf currently in third, Taylor Boss in fourth, and Mutke in the Aston Martin in fifth. I think we're going to have some seriously close racing on the restart. I mean, it's been so far quite clean for our top five drivers. So I think we could see some very high quality racing But here we go, and JJ, the only driver now on the hard tires, everybody else on new to relatively used mediums. So there's going to be no excuse now as to performance, apart from for Jaden, will most likely be in at some point during the safety car. However, this is it now, and it all comes down to this, with 16 laps to go, and the safety car is in, and it's called in very late, and now Jaden is left with the responsibility. He won't stop, however, he will have to control this restart and try and catch URC napping again. And as we know, a very difficult man to catch out on the restart, and is he doing it? He's going, and URC has caught him out, and it's going to be a pass on the start finish straight, or at least an attempt at such. We're going back to green flag racing for the third or fourth time. Here is Zandvoort, round the outside.
Oh!
And Hysterical's been disqualified, but I'd hate to put any sort of gloss over that, because URC is into the lead of this Grand Prix. He's passed the Williams. An epic switchback move in the first sector sees him retake the lead of this Grand Prix. And that is it. Once again, URC mastering the restart for another consecutive time. And he's back up into the lead for AlphaTauri, Kopi.
Shows he's actually got quite a lot of pace around here.
A very, very strong driver around the track. So now, URC and Yuki Boy on your mediums leads Jaden. This is what I was saying. If the safety car stayed out one lap longer, could we have seen the Williams of Jaden LLC10 into the pit lane, onto a new set of tyres? Hysterical's been disqualified for ignoring a drive-through penalty that was issued to him. That sent him right down into 20th for the disqualification from this session. And I think we just need to take a breather now. We have 15 laps to the end of this Grand Prix. URC Nuki Boy leads us from Jaden LLC in the Williams, but going round, and the AlphaTauri follows down the order because he spun on the last corner. What has happened? And we go from absolute rejoice in the AlphaTauri garage to heartbreak for URC Nuki Boy, who is now out of the points only by just, but a long way away from the pack, Kofi. This is it now. Jaden LFC has the lead returned to him again.
I think it'd be a good race for URC. Yeah.
Jaden LFC
my brain is starting to melt today.
Jaden LFC leads a Mercedes-powered 1 and 2 from Active Wolf in the McLaren, and Taylor Boss in the Red Bull finds himself back up on the podium on quite old mediums. I've got to be completely honest here, Kopi. Absolute heartbreak for URC Yuki Boy. The man is not a permanent driver in IFC Tier 5, and he nearly had the win under his belt, or at least a podium. Such a shame for the AlphaTauri. However,
remember, it is Zandvoort, tables can turn.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Tables can turn, and we have to
especially when it's IFC.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially when it's Tier 5, but we have to keep on with the task at hand, which at the moment, the task at hand for Taylor Boss is getting past this McLaren as RS is re-enabled, and Active Wolf looking to take a bit of proactive defensive action, but it's not going to happen, and JLC retains the lead.
Could it be a back-to-back win for McLaren?
It may well be, especially with Jaden having a pit stop right under him now. Surely at some point he's got to call the team and tell them we need to come in now, otherwise he is going to be off the track into a barrier even, perhaps. But this is it now, with only 11 drivers to go. And it's going to be quite the chasing pack as Jaden's off into the gravel. Ooh. And as you said, Kofi, it's going to be McLaren back in the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. Active Wolf now leads Taylor Boss and Mute Aaron, Mini Devil, Hackibeen. Jaden has fallen right down the order. Westy Dog gets the heading up into 7th. This is it now. Jaden has fallen down, he's almost out of the points. And as we watch on with Taylor Boss, or at least on my screen watching off Taylor Boss who has DRS on the McLaren, I highly recommend we go on board with this driver now. This is what it's all about now, a fight for the lead. McLaren and Red Bull, echoes of the 2021 Italian Grand Prix as we saw it in real life last year. And we're about to see it again only here in Holland, essentially. And here we go again. Hackibeen, ERS, DRS, has he got the pace to take first place from the McLaren? Round the outside into turn 1 we go. Is he going to have it done? Yes, he is! And an excellent move to retake the lead of the Grand Prix. Taylor Boss leads here at Zandvoort. Awesome driving from the Honda Power driver. Very, very good job as he looked to extend his championship lead. And it is so far so good. Active Wolf third in the championship. He'll be going up to second as we see it now if he can keep this position. However, that P2 is at risk from Yuki in the Aston Martin now, who's been able to recover from not exactly the strongest race start, but he's right up behind that McLaren now. You can't help but think Taylor might be backing him up slightly, Kopi. Thank you for your input, Kopi. Here we go now. Active Wolf
Sorry.
and Yuki both maybe fighting on the start-finish straight with Active Wolf. Oh, and a big lunge and a corner cut from Yuki. Instantly giving that position back. Is he going to take it around the outside of the next corner? Here we go now. Equal tyre rage, equal engines, no excuses. And Yuki's round. Yuki's round and you can't help but think they may make contact. I think they might make contact. That's
Hacky right now looking to take the moves. I've just realised Westy's in 6th.
What? Look down in turn 1 and look at this.
Westy round the outside. Can he hold it? He can.
He's going to hold it, and he is going to do it.
He made the move and he's went round the outside of Mini Devil.
I cannot believe
Ooh,
I'm
Mini
seeing
Devil
some of the best wheel-to-wheel racing here, and Mini Devil's coming back at him now. They're going to be going side by side through turn 4 and 5. Here we go now, and Mini Devil's got ahead, but will it be for long? Yes, yes it is. And Westy going with the safe option of holding back. No gap there, no gap to exist.
I think Active's going the player game. He's going to slow everyone down, let JJ catch up with them hard now. Because JJ's pace, the tyres will start to wear and catch up now.
That could well be the plan.
Disappear.
He's ceding positions low left, right and centre. Could he be retiring maybe?
No, I wouldn't think so. But now the two McLarens and an Alpine per se, 4th, 5th and 6th.
Could Westy look for P4 for Alpine from the back of the grid almost? Well, I suppose we're going to find out now. Taylor Boss leads this Grand Prix by nearly 2 seconds against the Haas of Aaron, who has a 3-second time penalty. Almost a 5-second
Obviously,
lead.
sorry to interrupt right now. It's the Tier 6 championship leader versus the Tier 6 drivers champion at the moment right now.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you again, counter-interrupt you, because Westy Dog has made an absolutely terrific move in turn 1 to get past the McLaren of Active Wolf, who's also ceded position to JJ Neat. Westy Dog up into P4 and chasing Hacky Bean in the AlphaTauri on much older tyres. Jaden LFC on the soft tyre. For Williams sets the fastest lap of 1:12.6. My goodness, I'm running out of breath. I've never had that happen before on racing commentary. There are 2 drivers on, or 3 drivers, dare I say, on quite old mediums, and they're all in the top 5. We're going to see some sort of reform in the point scoring positions for sure, and especially with Taylor Boss.
It would make sense for everyone to go on anyone on the mediums would make sense to go on the softs now. 10 laps on softs would have been perfect.
Absolutely. Dove Nightmare looking to make his recovery in the Red Bull, restoring to his former glory from qualifying.
JJ at the moment, I won't lie to you, JJ and Active are set to be one of the current best drivers on possible outcome. Because they don't need to pit again.
They'll be in a very, very strong position for this race. I'm unsure about them not needing to pit again, but I suppose time will tell. Westy Dog within a second now of Hacky Bean. If he can keep that, when, well, obviously, he's going to be within DRS range of the AlphaTauri and up into the podium possibly. Active Wolf has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and I'd assume on that's on track limits violations, which I can't quite see making sense, but I suppose we'll find out after the Grand Prix. Just a rundown of your top 11, the 11 drivers left in this mosh pit of a race. We got Taylor Boss leading Aaron and Hacky Bean, then Westy Dog P4 followed by the McLaren of JJ Neat, Dove Nightmare in the Red Bull, Yuki in the Aston Martin, Jaden LFC in the Williams, who was leading this Grand Prix at one point, hopefully wanting to come back to that. Active Wolf has a 3-second time penalty and is recently pitted, and he's now in P9. URC Yuki Boy in P10 after what was a very, very devastating spin, but he's back up into the points and ahead of Mini Devil, who's in the pit lane for Alfa Romeo. Here we go, 9 laps to go of the Dutch Grand Prix. It's starting to cloud over. Could we see rainy conditions at some point, you wonder, Kopi?
If so, I think they would all want to go on the softs, wouldn't they?
Most likely, it would be a very good excuse to do it again.
I found out about hysterical why he got DSQ'd, by the way. He was about to serve his drive-through, but the second he entered the pits, the safety car happened.
Oh.
So his pit crew came out.
Yeah, because you cannot do a drive-through penalty behind the safety car. Very well observation and very unlucky for that Ferrari driver. A drive-through penalty, I believe, maybe for jumping the start, but we'll once again find out this information after the race. Unfortunately, though, for the Ferrari, disqualified and sent to the bottom of the race classification because Mini Devil's out of the race. And that's that for Mini Devil. Only 10 drivers left now. If you can stay
All
on the track,
I would think everyone could go on the softs.
this is it now. We're going to have this situation where strategies are going to be altered heavily. It's only reasonable now for Taylor Boss to come into the pit lane. But then again, Dove Nightmare, also on the mediums of a similar age, could we try for a double stop?
Yes, but Dove's a bit further back now, so they could double stop at this length.
They absolutely could. The gap between Dove Nightmare and Taylor Boss currently sits at 5.3 seconds and rapidly declining. They are going to most likely commit to this double stop. Taylor Boss, as expected, is into the pit lane.
Aaron to go
also in. The AlphaTauri of
Westy in.
Westy.
JJ in. Dove's in as well, yes.
Here we go. We're going to watch our first double stack here at
there.
Zandvoort. Taylor's way out. And Dove will have plenty of time to do this stop, and it's a perfect double stack. Almost just a little bit of a stutter on starting the pit stop, but Dove is out. He's out and he's in P6. Wow. And I must say it was an almost perfectly executed double stop for a stop on the same lap for both Red Bulls
it's
there.
happened again. Obviously JJ has no buttons that work, so his team have put him on mediums.
Oh dear. Not exactly what he would have wanted. Use mediums as well. And as we can see,
it's 6 lap though. 6 laps.
We are practically
James in, Active stays out, and so does Nuki.
We are now practically in the same conditions as we had not too long ago at all, literally last lap. And it's almost the exact same classification, but in the top 4 remains the same. And Westy Dog, can he make it a podium from the bottom 5 on the grid? Because at the moment, Westy Dog, well, his position change, 11 places up off of P15.
I remember, this is coming out with the Tier 6 reserve driver. This guy is the Tier 5 reserve driver, and the current championship leader in Tier 6.
Let's see exactly what's about to happen here. There's one more car left.
He's going very Kimi Raikkonen, he isn't warming his tyres up.
They need to do this. I mean, I think a lot
Look at JJ behind you. You look at JJ behind him and he's doing a Schumacher tyre warm-up.
You have to think, after the last restart and the amount of mistakes that were made that were possibly abetting to the lack of tyre temperature, you think they'd learn eventually that you need to heat these tyres, you need to get that grip and you need to get that friction heat to get the said grip to be able to race properly on the green flag. But they haven't thought about it, or at least Westy hasn't. Maybe something to change on the start-finish straight. Still no tyre warm-up for Westy. I have not a clue what he's doing. Westy in front of him, doing the most.
There we go, a little bit of warm-up. I'm definitely sure it'll be safe to go in this lap. And we've got 6 laps, sorry. Yes, 6 laps of racing.
5 laps at the flag when we get to the green. This is it now.
Yes, you have corrected me there.
And just a bit of news.
Oh yeah, hang on. We've also got to remember this. Sorry to absolutely interrupt. Aaron and JJ have made 14 positions, and Taylor's just collided with Aaron.
And Westy,
mass collision.
Oh, what's happened there then?
Sorry, Aaron. I'm gonna get killed so many times.
Westy,
Aaron, Westy, and JJ all have made 5 stops.
And I hate to say it, sorry, Westy Dog now from 15th on the grid and multiple grid penalties is up into the podium. And despite penalties,
and you've got to remember, Aaron has 3 seconds.
Could it be
Taylor
P2?
gets 3 seconds. Westy's set to win.
Could it be P2? Do you wonder?
I think it might be P2. You know,
Even
Westy has the pace.
Heat your tyres, Westy. That's my only advice. However, a bit of news for you who are possibly distracted by this Grand Prix. Michael Andretti has applied for the FIA to compete in the Formula 1 World Championship for 2024. A bit of news, and the safety car now in this lap. We'll come back to that news on Andretti, I'm sure, very later on. However, Taylor Boss leads from Aaron and Westy looking at P2 possibly with that penalty for Aaron in the Haas. He needs to have this restart down, as we should.
We'll watch Taylor on the restart from the TV view.
Here we go now.
I'll let
the man who's had
do the rest
practically flawless restarts so far in this Grand Prix. We're going to go round the final 2 corners no quicker than 70 miles an hour. The Red Bull looking for yet another career victory, looking to yet again extend his championship lead in the best way possible. And here we go now, as we go back to racing speed. Aaron comes into the pit lane, Westy stays out, Westy into second, and Taylor Boss leads. This is it now. We go racing yet again And as we watch behind, look between Haki and JJ Neat, who's trying to get past the AlphaTauri of Haki being up into the podium yet again. Yuki and the Aston Martins made it through. And and a bit of contact between the McLaren and the Red Bull. Dove Nightmare and Active Wolf. Dove Nightmare in P6 at the moment. And Active Wolf right behind him, getting a bit onto the grass in the Mercedes there. Or the McLaren, correct. Bit of a penalty. Could be a spanner in the works for him though. Does he realise it? Hopefully so. However, Taylor Boss retains the lead and Westy Dog just over a second behind him. Could Westy Dog challenge for a victory in the last 5 laps of this Grand Prix? It has been a race that has been absolutely shredded by controversy, crashes, disqualification, penalties and safety cars. Westy is purple in the second sector and now less than a second separates him and the Red Bull. Westy Dog, 15th on the grid at the start of this race, is now in P2 and possibly fighting for the lead. And he is leading Haki Bean, JJ in the McLaren, Mutke in the Aston Martin, Dove Nightmare trying to make something out of this Grand Prix now. Active Wolf in the McLaren. Speaking of McLaren now, JJ Neat weaving to break the slipstream of the Aston Martin of Mutke, who's trying to look for P4 from the McLaren driver. As we go round, Jaden LFC into the pit lane. However, Mutke is looking to chase down JJ. Is he going to try and move into turn 4? Not quite. He's going to stay behind the Mercedes-powered car. And Taylor Boss is being chased by every definition of the word by Westy Dog, who is less than a second behind him. And I think all eyes will be on the top 3 just now, because Haki Bean is barely 6/10 away from the Alpine on track as well. This is what all comes down to.
I'm just going to interrupt you here. Tabiti, JJ did bit Pox, but his pit crew put on old mediums.
Oh. DRS.
Really close here between 4th and 6th.
DRS will be enabled next lap, and I recommend that whilst the battle goes on in the midfield, we also try our best to keep an eye on what's going on in the top 2.
Ooh, I think Taylor must have messed up a bit because Westy's got up 3/10.
This could be it now. As we watch on with Westy Dog, I recommend that we do go on board with him. And here we go. As we go down the start finish straight, Taylor Boss sets the fastest lap.
Taylor right now set to be the Grand Slam.
Whoa.
DRS enabled now.
A bit of a yellow. There's a yellow flag there for Jaden LSC. He's not out. Does he have damage? You wonder. I don't think there's any damage to that Williams. Off the track, however. However, back on track. Westy Dog for sure is back on track. He is 13 positions up on the start, and he is looking for P1 from the Red Bull of Taylor Boss. Oh, and it's getting closer and closer each time. It's not going to be long before DRS.
I think Taylor might have damage, you know.
DRS.
Actually, no, it's Taylor with barely any ERS.
Westy has every single facility to take P1 and the winning position from the Red Bull. Let's watch on now. DRS on the Alpine. And this could be it. If not here, maybe on the start-finish straight. Don't get optimistic now. There's still another zone to go. And Westy well knows that. Stays behind the Red Bull. No opportunistic moves here. Haki Bean is over a second now, I think, behind Westy Dog. Here we go now. Westy, once again, DRS. He's going to be using the batteries. Looks like they're going to be draining it in the closing laps. 2 laps to go. Look at the speed advantage. Westy trying it. No, he's not. Mature racing.
Get closer and closer each lap.
Very much in demonstration here. Very much in play by the Alpine. Amazing racing here as he chases that Red Bull, and he's getting closer and closer.
Taylor slipping to...
And
Westy could make a move maybe soon.
Mutke is off the track, not out of this Grand Prix, but he's fallen down the order. All eyes on this fight now. Look how close Westy is to Taylor. It seems like they're quick in each corner, each and every corner. But then they've got that tiny difference to squeeze either way. Each lap, Westy is trying so desperately. 4 attempts. The difference between these 2 drivers now. Westy is driving for his life right now. He'd love a win as a reserve driver here on Tier 5. Here we go though, he's going to be very close now. Striking distance maybe? Not at all. And Westy retains second at the moment, but for how long you wonder? He needs to keep this super clean as we go on to the second and final lap by the time we pass the flag on the start finish straight. Now look, take a look. I think Taylor got onto the curb. The cap is already going down, that's without DRS. 3/10 the difference by the time that rear wing opens.
Taylor's trying to break it. Westy's going to look around the outside of Taylor.
He's going to be...
Can he make the move? Taylor's going to send it down the inside.
It's nearly contact. It might be contact. Westy up into the lead for Alpine. the reserve driver from Tier 6, looking to make a victory, and he may as well have done it. Second last lap in the Alpine leads this Grand Prix. Taylor Boss in P2. He won't want to settle for this from pole position in qualifying. He'll be hunting him right back down, but he needs to charge that battery. This was the key to Westy's overtake, I reckon, apart from some very, very strong racing. That battery was a quarter full, and he used exactly as much as he needed to for that. But now he's going to need to have enough to defend against Taylor, who'll have DRS into the next straight. Don't use overtake now. Westy has to understand that there's distance enough that Taylor most likely won't attempt to move, even with DRS. Oh, and round we go. And into...
We're going to be finishing the penultimate lap very shortly. Taylor right on the rear of Westy. Both on equal ERS now, so Westy's feeling the pressure of what Taylor had before. Can Westy keep in front though?
Yellow flags and R&D has come off the track. However, all eyes on the top.
I don't think Taylor's close enough, you know.
Taylor
isn't close enough on the penultimate lap.
Last lap. He's going to try and send it. It's not enough. He can't even get past at all of the Alpine. Not even a front wing or a front axle in front. Alpine stays ahead. Westy Dog stays ahead. Oh, and it's going to be so close. It's going to be super close. They realise this is the final lap, and they realise what is to play for. We're going through turn 5, turn 6, and down to the sweeping corner of turn 7. They both have to try and keep us on the track. Westy's definitely aced that corner a lot better than Taylor has. 3/10 the difference. This could be a photo finish. Definitely a photo to go into the memory book for Westy if he can win a race in Tier 5.
Hagi gets the 3-second penalty.
That's it. I think
Red
that's
Bull
it
won
for...
the Red Bull. It's a double Red Bull podium. Taylor isn't close enough to Westy, I don't think.
Westy Dog, who has contended, he's driven fearlessly to come back from P15.
With a 10 grid place penalty.
A 10 place grid penalty, multiple time penalties, let me remind you, during the race, but it can only be won by someone with such attrition and such skill as this Alpine driver. It's going to be super close, so could Taylor do anything? He's not going to be able to, because Westy Dog has won the Dutch Grand Prix, and the man who started in 15th in the Alpine as a reserve driver from Tier 6 has won here in Tier 5 as well, demonstrating some of the best racecraft I've personally ever seen here at Zandvoort, and he has won here in the Holland. This racetrack, one of such attrition, one of such difficulty, and the man has prevailed. Westy Dog wins the Dutch Grand Prix. Taylor Boss and Dove Nightmare both create a Red Bull 2-3, a Red Bull double podium. Hacky penalty. He is in P5 at the flag. Garcia Yuki likely not happy, even with a big points haul as a reserve driver. He is P6, however, he could have had potential.
Could you please invite the top 3, because we're definitely doing interviews with these.
Absolutely, and now we have the time to, not looking at anyone in particular, Taylor. Anyway, let us take a look, and we're going to arrange some interviews. Wow.
I really just got what you understood there.
That was something else entirely.
Which understood that.
What a crazy Grand Prix it's been. And it can only be won by the best, and I think the best surely today played with the Alpine, the man that you need in a race of such high attrition, and it was Westy Dog on top today. And I've invited the Red Bull driver, Dove Nightmare, but he's not joining yet, maybe getting on with the celebrations here. Really strong effort.
Can you obviously take the screenshots this time to the graphic designers?
Yes, of course I can.
Obviously top 20, all the way from 1st to 20th.
What a race. I mean, that was just simply action-packed, but as I say, it can only
obviously,
be won by the
Dove
best.
At the end took fastest lap away from Taylor.
And the guys who we thought were playing the team game, it's not quite worked out that way. The fastest lap has been stolen, but it's yet again a double podium for Red Bull. And IFC Taylor, as I understand, will extend his championship lead as we get an interview with the man in P2 now. Taylor, wow. That was a race and a half, mate, and that is a double podium for Red Bull here at Zandvoort. What a crazy race. Could you just lead us through exactly what was going through your mind those last couple of laps as the Alpine of Westy Dog was able to overtake you there?
That's definitely the I've had in a long time. I was in a party with Westy, and I think we were screaming at each other to go faster and crash the whole time. I went for a push lap for the fastest lap, and I drained my battery and not realised Westy was still in my DRS range. So he then took advantage of that, flew past me, and I couldn't get it back. So fair play.
Well done, Taylor. Still a podium, still a double podium for the Red Bull guys. However, I mean, it can only be one by one, as a certain David Croft said at Abu Dhabi last year. And Westy, you have prevailed above the rest. The Alpine Reserve echoes of a Nico Hulkenberg-esque performance. Well done. How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
I think he's dead. He isn't.
I'm dead. I'm absolutely dead. But it was so fun. I actually that was the most fun I've had on this game. I think it was ridiculous. Oh, what about?
Well done, and I think it was very well deserved. I mean, that was such a valiant effort. P15 on the grid, a race that was littered with, I think, at least a couple of time penalties in the race itself, despite those grid penalties in the qualifying session. Yet you have come out on top. I mean, was there anything to do with the strategy, or do you think it was just down to your own driving? Feel free to act modest over humble. I think you've deserved it.
I think starting further down helped because it just allowed me to have my own race. I didn't have any pressure of starting near the front, and also being a reserve meant that I could just go for it. Mini Devil said in the chat that I was a little bit too forceful. Yeah, probably was. Let him back through at one point because I was too forceful, which lost me another place. But yeah, it was such a fun race and bit of strategy, quite a lot of luck. That last safety car, that's the reason I won. No other reason.
Despite the means of by you taking the checkered flag here at Zandvoort, I mean, you've shown some extreme maturity, especially, knowing that it was going to be a very risky move to go for. I think in the closing stage of the Grand Prix, especially down to turn one, when it came to wheel racing there, you knew exactly when to pull out. So I must say, massive kudos to you. It was an amazing performance. And I think you knew just exactly when enough was enough when it came to racing where the real risk of damage was in place. So congratulations, Westy. A really good performance, and I believe, if I remember correctly, a double win here at Zandvoort, Tier 6 and Tier 5.
Not quite.
Not quite?
No, I got P3 in Tier 6, P3.
A double podium, then. I stand corrected. Apologies for that, but still, taking the checkered flag here at Zandvoort must be an amazing feeling. Congratulations, Westy, and congratulations, Taylor, to lead a Red Bull 2 and 3 finish. Phew. Yeah, that was quite the race.
We'll end the stream there. Thank you all for watching. It was an amazing race. We'll obviously see the Tier 4 and Tier 3 lads race tomorrow. Bring the best performances they can. Same with Tier 1 and 2. But that's all from me. Thank you and goodbye.